Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special episode with the all-new Land Rover Defender. Here today for you with Autogefühl, on-road and off-road. With Thomas in front of the camera, Jonas behind the camera. All the details in exterior, interior and the driving experience. Enjoy this episode together with us in Full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! So we have two colors for you here today. Here the Pangea Green or the Indus Silver. This new Defender, it does cite something of the past generation, yes, the original model, but you can see it is definitely rounder than before. Also has to do, for example, with pedestrian safety measurements, and the whole model is really completely different. It is 20 centimeters or 8 inches wider. You can already see that here in the front. And the whole concept is different. So no leather frame anymore. This is an aluminum unibody structure, also with an independent suspension and so on. So it's really completely different concept, but still off-road capable. The short wheelbase version is called 90 and it is 4 meters 58 or 180 inches. This one here, however, is the 110 long wheelbase version, 5 meters 02 or 198 inches. And this is the Autogefühl drinking game. From where does Thomas enter the stage? Yes, today from the rear. You can always guess and then play a drinking game with your friends. Enjoy that. Well, but today, of course, with the Land Rover Defender here also in the side profile, you can see here both 110 version, long wheelbase version for you here today. The length I have given you are, by the way, including the spare wheel at the rear. You can also deduct that, then you have a shorter vehicle, so the chassis is not that long actually as it sounds. Here we have this black look. You can see here we also had the black Defender lettering in the front, whereas the other vehicle is rather the brighter look. The shorter 90 version, by the way, is also available with a base steel suspension in Europe if you are in the US, or you go for the longer one, the 110. Air suspension is always standard. However, for off-road use, it's of course even better because you can put the car even higher. Here, the classic replacement tire in the rear. I mean, you could also drive with it demounted, but usually when you buy this vehicle, you want it either for the looks or then for the off-road usage. So whereas all other manufacturers have no logic anymore in their naming system, Jaguar Land Rover put a new logic in there, and it's so simple. 4 cylinders, diesel, D200 or D240, that's also the horsepower count. Here the D240 in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, this symbolizes 4 cylinders. Not everything clean here today, that's also off-roading, guys. And on the other side, we have the petrol fraction. So petrol either a P300, that's still a 4-cylinder, or than this, the P400. Yeah, you guys in the US will love that. P400, the 6-cylinder petrol engine. Side. You can also put the car lower, by the way, for an access height. For example, you know, if you're a lady and wearing a fancy dress, or if you're guest is wearing a fancy dress, for example. And then, of course, pull it higher, as we shown you earlier. Well, then seating position, upright, really like a square seating position, and I really like that. So you have a good view all around, and it's actually quite comfortable. Also nice with we have already the fabric share here that makes it also, a little better that you don't slide on it too much, although the seats are rather open. But also long term, I could very imagine going longer way with this vehicle. This is mainly manual, this seat here in this case, also for pumping up your here. Quality here, for example, the lever is not top notch. I think some parts are really very nicely done, as I said, as some of the fabric surface. Some other things are looking rather a little bit rougher. So it's indeed a mix. Interior overview, a horizontal stress. Here again, the soft touch fabric is really nicely done. Open area here, so there's rugged look. Here's another USB supply, for example. 10-inch screen comes standard with a new software that will be also implemented in newer Jaguar Land Rover models. On the left side, however, then you start with analog gauges, optional 12.3-inch instruments. So that's the overview. Here the steering wheel again with this rugged look. The buttons here on the steering wheel do give you some haptical feedback, some kind of, yes. Also have a clicking sound. Volume controller is on the left. On the right side you set the cruise control and also heated steering wheel. Then you have this typical Land Rover layout with a gear shifter that sticks out here somewhat. Climate units. It's still easy to control it also while driving. Push it, for example, for the seat heating. That's a cool system. Here is then also everything you control off-road wise. For example, here pumping car up or down. Hill descent control. Then the off-road gearing, putting car neutral first, then click this button. And then on the right side, this will get even more interesting. This is then here the terrain select. So you can then choose this here or touch on the screen for the different off-road driving modes. Digital instruments, you can see here left side speed, right side is the RPM meter, and then you can also change what you want to see actually in the middle part. So we can change the layout right here, or also what we want to have as the information. And for example, for the GPS, you can also set to full map, and then you have the GPS map in there. Doesn't look too fancy, does the job. I've seen better software for digital instruments. Into the screen, the software has been updated. Things are easier than before, easier accessible, and with Auto Apple CarPlay is available. Then the GPS looks like this. Everything is more responsive. It's really a better processor unit they've put in here right now. So that's a crucial change if you compare it to, a infotainment system so far. And you see, it doesn't have such a menu depth, so to say. Everything easily accessible. This is the options list, for example. Brightness of the screen. You can also set it right here. And then let's check out the camera view, which is quite impressive. So, the top option you can have, especially when you're off-road. Check out the individual tire. We also see the other Defender next to us. And then you can also have this fake drone from above and actually pick an individual camera wherever you want to see it. This top mirror, either a normal one or then on demand, you can make it a camera. And this is, for example, handy. We see the sandpit behind us, the hard sandpit behind us. This is actually quite cool when you have on the rear everything loaded up that you could not see for real to the rear, but from the outside camera you can still. So this is a nice feature, and especially that you can pick how you want to have it. As for the rear passengers, so this is a bench that goes all the way through. Also we have the nice soft material at the back part of the door, and basically the very same look. So the whole seat setups could be 5, 6 or 7 seats, depending if you have the jump seat in the front and also if you have the additional third seating row. First of all, to the second seating row, and there's a quite handy solution here indeed with, the handrail right there. It's quite cool. Here at the back part we have a USB supply of the seat, and this one would be like for an iPad holder or something, and you can see you really have reasonable space here in the legroom. So this platform is using more space than, for example, the other like high top luxury vehicles they have in the lineup. a lot of legroom. This is the driver's seat to my position with 1.86 m or 6'1", and I even forgot in the front about the headroom, because I don't even have to talk about the headroom because there's so much headroom left. So there's not really an issue at all. So upright seating position here, very comfortable, nice, and a lot of space also when I move to the middle seat here. So there's one of the cars where you can very, very well sit in the middle seat. Of course, the car is so high that the off-road transmission tunnel doesn't really interfere with the interior, so that's pretty cool. And also to the seating, no problem at all. Really nice that we also have the bright seating here, and we have these additional windows here on both sides that leave some more light from the top part. So also, of course, a quote of the past model, but you know, some of the nice emotional features, definitely. Well, if you ever wondered why these off-road cars have a sideways opening trunk, well, it is because of the replacement tire that is just too heavy. I mean, imagine flipping that up to the top part or having gas truss that are so strong to do that, so it's easier. And however, it's still a lot of weight on these hinges on the inside, and they are now stronger than before, especially right here, you know, in these areas. So let's see how that one plays out. Very practical trunk here, however, and also with a robust floor, definitely. This soft top cover is, of course, and again, something that has this old school character. You have to deinstall the manual here at the sides, and you know, that's some work. It's not a real practical solution. Again, it's more about quoting the past. Not sure if you just leave it like this then. Here again, you can have a better view. So pretty nice area we have available there.